My, hu- my husband and his family replaced. My late mother's engagement ring with a fake. I found out at a family dinner. I am writing this because I am completely numb, sitting in a hotel room, and I need to get this out before I lose my mind. I never thought I would be one of those people posting their life drama on Reddit, but here I am. This involves my husband of 2 years, Mark 32M, and his family, specifically his mother, Eleanor, and his sister, Sarah 28F. When my mother passed away 5 years ago after a long battle with cancer, she left me her most prized possession, her engagement ring. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry, it was a stunning, custom-made 2.5-carat antique sapphire surrounded by a halo of delicate diamonds, set in platinum. My father had saved up for 3 years to buy it for her, and it symbolized their 30 years of unbroken love. Before she passed, she held my hand and told me she wanted me to wear it when I found the person I wanted to spend my life with. When Mark proposed to me 3 years ago, we were struggling financially. I told him he didn't need to buy an expensive ring. I proudly gave him my mother's ring so he could officially propose with it. He was incredibly grateful, and the proposal was beautiful. I wore that ring every single day. It was my anchor and my last physical connection to my mom. Enter his sister, Sarah. Sarah has always been the golden child of the family. She is incredibly superficial, highly competitive, and always gets what she wants. 6 months ago, Sarah got engaged to her wealthy fiancé, James. From the moment she got engaged, she started making passive-aggressive comments about my ring. She would say things like, "It's so unfair that you got a real, historic antique when you didn't even have to pay for it," or "That sapphire would look so much better with my complexion." I ignored her, assuming it was just her usual jealousy. 2 months ago, I noticed the main sapphire on my ring felt slightly loose in its setting. I panicked and told Mark. He immediately volunteered to take it to a local jeweler he trusted to get the prongs tightened. He took it on a Tuesday morning and brought it back Thursday evening, saying the jeweler fixed it up perfectly and even gave it a professional cleaning. When he put it back on my finger, it looked incredibly shiny. I noticed it looked almost too perfect. The tiny, microscopic scratch on the side of the sapphire that I used to look at when I missed my mom was gone. I asked Mark about it, and he laughed, saying the jeweler probably just polished it out. I trusted my husband completely, so I dropped it. Fast forward to last night. We were at Mark's parents' house for a massive family dinner to celebrate Sarah and James's upcoming wedding. Sarah was showing off her wedding planning binder, acting like royalty. At one point, she excused herself to go to the restroom. She left her purse on the dining table, and it tipped over, spilling her belongings everywhere. I bent down to help her mother, Eleanor, pick up the items. As I pulled a small velvet jewelry pouch out from under the chair, it slipped open. Inside was a loose, unmounted gemstone. I picked it up and my heart stopped. It was a 2.5-carat antique sapphire. And right there, on the side of the pavilion, was the exact, microscopic, feather-shaped scratch that had been on my mother's ring. I knew that stone better than I knew my own face. My hands started shaking violently. I stood up, holding the stone, and looked at Eleanor. Her face instantly drained of all color. She reached out to grab it, but I stepped back. I looked over at Mark, who was suddenly staring at his plate, sweating profusely. "Mark," I said, my voice cracking, "why does your sister have my mother's sapphire in her purse?" The dining room went completely silent. Sarah walked back into the room right at that moment, saw what I was holding, and immediately snapped, "Give that back, it's mine. James bought it for me." "James didn't buy this," I whispered, the reality crashing down on me like a tidal wave. I looked down at the ring on my finger. I took it off and looked closely at the stone under the dining room chandelier. It didn't refract light the same way. It was a high-quality cubic zirconia, or lab-created stone, a fake. I demanded answers, shouting at this point. Mark finally cracked. He broke down crying and confessed everything in front of his entire family and Sarah's fiancé. Apparently, 2 months ago, Sarah had a complete meltdown because James refused to buy her a custom antique sapphire ring, saying it was outside their budget. Sarah went to Eleanor, crying that her wedding would be ruined and that I didn't even appreciate the history of my ring. Together, Eleanor and Sarah pressured Mark. They told him that family helps family, that Sarah deserved her dream wedding, and that I would never know the difference if they replaced the stone with a flawless replica. Mark, who has never been able to stand up to his mother, caved under the pressure. When he took my ring to the jeweler to fix the loose prong, he actually took it to a shady dealer Eleanor knew. Had my mother's real sapphire pried out of the platinum setting and replaced it with a cheap imitation. Sarah's plan was to take my mother's heirloom sapphire and have it set into her own custom wedding band next week. I was so nauseous I thought I was going to faint. I looked at Mark, the man I swore to spend the rest of my life with, and realized he was a complete stranger. He stole from me. He desecrated the memory of my dead mother just to keep his spoiled sister from throwing a tantrum. I snatched the real sapphire, grabbed my car keys, and walked out. Mark chased me down the driveway, begging me to listen, screaming that he did it for the peace of the family and that it was just a rock. Eleanor shouted from the porch that I was overreacting and ruining Sarah's engagement dinner. Even Sarah had the audacity to scream that I was a thief for taking her stone. The only person who seemed horrified was Sarah's fiancé, James. He looked completely disgusted, grabbed his coat, and left separately. I don't know what's happening with them, and frankly, I don't care. I blocked Mark, Eleanor, and Sarah on everything. I checked into a hotel under a different name. My phone has been blowing up with texts from mutual friends and Mark's extended family. Half of them are saying Mark committed a literal crime and that I should divorce him, while the other half, mostly his side of the family, are accusing me of being selfish, ruining a marriage over a piece of jewelry, and causing a permanent rift in their family. They are demanding I return the fake ring because Eleanor paid for the replica stone and wants her money back. I am grieving my mother all over again, and I feel completely betrayed by the person who was supposed to protect me. I have already contacted a divorce lawyer, and first thing tomorrow morning, I am going to the police station to file a report for grand theft against my husband, his sister, and his mother. They want a family rift? I am going to give them a legal war. Am I the wrong one for refusing to forgive him and going straight to a lawyer and the police? I will update when I take them to court for taking something that was not theirs in the first place. Make sure to like and subscribe, and comment if I did the right thing.